Question 18a asks us to solve by factorization. Now what that means is we need to get some brackets into this expression here. Now this expression is a quadratic expression in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, and or minus c in this case, and that's been made equal to 0 so we can actually solve it. So it's actually not a horrible question, because we might have had to rearrange this and it becomes harder to see, but we can see it's definitely a quadratic expression, which means it's the opposite of multiplying up double brackets, which means to factorize it we need some double brackets. And if we're going to solve it, I'll come to that in a minute. So the method for doing this is to take, because this coefficient of the x squared term is actually higher than 1, we're going to take that number and we're going to multiply it by the number on the end. I'm going to ignore the fact it's a minus 12 at the moment. So I'm going to do 2 times 12, and that equals 24, and find the factors of 24. Now the factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Now I need to find a pair of factors that have that will add to make a positive 5. So this x term's coefficient needs to be made by a pair of these factors, and I can see that 3 and 8 will do that if I make the 3 negative. And I need the 3 to be negative, or at least one of these two numbers to be negative, because I need to make a minus 24. I said I ignored it for a minute, but I'm going to make that now the minus 24. And I've got minus 3 and positive 8. That is the pair of factors that I'm interested in. Right, and let's just prove that 8 plus minus 3 equals, well, these two collect together and become just a minus. That makes the x term's coefficient. Check, happy with that. You don't have to do this, but you can if you want to check. And then 8 multiplied by minus 3 equals minus 24, which is fantastic. So we've definitely got the right combination or right pair of numbers. We've definitely got the right one being negative. Now you split this x term. This is your method for doing these more tricky ones. You split that and you've got a plus 8x on this side, because I'm going to bring down a 2x squared, and then section that off as something that is just a linear factorization question. And then on this side I'm going to put the minus 3x and bring down the minus 12 from the original question. All right? So another linear factorization question here, and what I'm going to do is factorize this expression. So take out the factor of 2, take out the factor of x, open up your bracket, put an x in, put a plus 4, because if you were multiplying that out, you'd make this part of the expression. And then same on this side, I've got minus 3, open the bracket, x minus plus 4, I should say, because minus 3 multiplied by a positive 4 makes a minus 12. And the good thing is I've got two brackets that are exactly the same. That means that is one of my brackets, x plus 4. Right? I need another bracket, and that bracket is 2x minus 3. Always works like this. It's always going to be this and this. As long as these brackets are the same, you know you've done everything correct. No mistakes have been made, and you can just put these two terms inside a bracket and then make it equal to 0, because you want to solve it eventually. So this is how you solve these. Each one of these brackets needs to be made equal to 0. So if you made x plus 4 equal nothing, then x must be minus 4. So one of our solutions is x equals minus 4. The other one would be, let's just show you what you need to do here. If you can't do this in your head, I'm sure you can, but you'd add 3 to both sides. You'd end up with 2x is equal to 3. It's just a linear equation which you're going to solve, and then divide both sides by 2. So x equals 1.5. So you can put your other solution as 1.5. And all of that work in there is good enough to show that we've solved this equation by factorizing it first. Part B is another solve this equation question, and it's another similar looking equation, but this time we've got to give each value correct 2 decimal places. So you can see, look, there's 2 solutions again. It's nice that they've set this up for us. But if we've got 2 decimal places, it means we can't factorize it. So what we have to use is something called the quadratic formula. and that's another piece of information you have to have now in your brain, not given the formula, and it is minus b plus or minus the square root of square root of b. Sorry, I'm thinking of what that's actually going to be already. So b squared minus 4ac over 2a. There's your quadratic formula. Okay, you have to know that in your head to be able to pull it out to answer these 3-mark questions here. And then all you do is attribute a letter to each one of these numbers. So the first one is a, the second one is b, and the third one is c. More accurately, I should really say that a is the x squared terms coefficient, b is the x terms coefficient, and c is the constant. So substituting those numbers in, you're going to get minus 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 3, multiplied by c, which is minus 3, and then all of that is divided by 2 times by 3. And then what we're doing there is x equals, that's an x, or 2x solutions equal, you can only do one at a time when you do this on the calculator. You could type all of this into the calculator, so minus 2 plus first, the square root of all of this over all of this, and it gets you one answer. And then you go back into your scientific calculator screen, you change the plus for a minus, you press equals, and you get the other solution. And it's really quick and easy. But I've got a rubbish calculator, so I'm going to have to faff about a little bit more. And I'm going to type in minus 2 plus or minus the square root of, let's work this bit out, so minus 4 multiplied by 3 is minus 12, minus 12 multiplied by minus 3 is 36, so 4, 36 is 40, so that bit is the square root of 40, and 2 times 3 is 6. So now I can type all this into the calculator. So I bring my calculator in. What I've got is 2 as a minus 2 plus root 40, square root of 40 equals, and I'm going to divide that by 6, and that gives me 0.720, and we need to do it to 2 decimal places. If I remember, there we go, 2 decimal places, so 0.72 to 2 dp. There we go. So that's one of our solutions. And then all we need to do is make sure we do this for the minus version for the other solution. So get your calculator back up. We're going to do minus 2 minus square root of 40. That equals that, and then you divide it by 6. And you get the other solution of, I've forgotten what it was, minus 1.39. Minus 1.39, because we're rounding that off to 2 decimal places, so minus 1.39 is the other solution. And nice easy 3 marks, especially if you've got a decent scientific calculator and you're good at remembering things.